Today, we will be discussing heat stress in construction workplaces, which is a serious occupational health hazard, especially in Malaysia.
Heat stress, a silent yet significant workplace hazard. When the body can't cool itself, it overheats. This is heat stress. Excessive physical activity, high temperatures, or heavy protective clothing can trigger it. But what's the big deal? Well, heat stress isn't just about discomfort. It's a serious risk. Dehydration, heat stroke, even fatalities, these are real consequences.
Especially in hot countries like Malaysia, heat stress occurs when the body absorbs more heat than it can release. This commonly happens when workers are exposed to high temperatures for long periods, especially during physically demanding work. Construction workers are among the most vulnerable groups because they work outdoors under direct sunlight, perform heavy manual labor, and wear personal protective equipment that can trap heat. Malaysia has a humid tropical climate, with daily temperatures ranging from 25 to 35 degrees Celsius and high humidity levels. High humidity reduces the body's ability to cool itself through sweating, which increases the risk of heat-related illnesses. If not properly managed, heat stress can cause fatigue, dehydration, dizziness, and muscle cramps. In severe cases, it may lead to heat exhaustion or heat stroke, which can be life-threatening.
Globally, more than 70% of the world's workforce, which is approximately 2.4 billion workers, are exposed to excessive heat at work every year. According to the International Labour Organization, heat exposure causes over 22 million work-related injuries, about 19,000 deaths each year, especially in outdoor industries like construction. For Malaysia statistics, the National Institute of Occupational Safety and Health, NIOSH, highlighted how climate change increases heat exposure risks for workers. According to the International Labour Organization, ILO, about 70% of global workers face hazards like heat stroke, UV radiation, and air pollution. In Malaysia, construction workers are among the most vulnerable to heat stress because they work outdoors and perform heavy physical tasks. Studies conducted at construction sites have recorded heat exposure levels exceeding safe limits, with heat index values reaching above 40 degrees Celsius during peak hours.
Source of workplace exposure refers to factors at work that can affect workers' health and safety. Physical sources include heat from working under the sun and noise from machines. These can cause fatigue or hearing problems. Ergonomic sources come from lifting heavy materials and working in awkward postures. They can lead to muscle pain and injuries.
Now, I will discuss the health effects of heat stress, focusing on 3 key impacts supported by real-world evidence. First, heat-related illness and death. Heat stress can cause serious conditions such as heat exhaustion and heat stroke. Heat stroke is a medical emergency in which the body loses its ability to regulate temperature, potentially leading to organ failure or death. According to the World Health Organization, occupational heat stress contributes to thousands of worker deaths every year, especially among outdoor workers. During recent extreme heat waves in South and Southeast Asia, news reports highlighted increased hospital admissions involving construction workers suffering from dehydration, fainting, and heat stroke. These incidents clearly show how dangerous uncontrolled heat exposure can be. Second, reduced physical and mental performance. Heat stress significantly affects physical endurance and cognitive function. When the body overheats, workers experience faster fatigue, dizziness, confusion, and slower reaction times. These effects increase the risk of workplace accidents such as falls, machinery errors, and poor decision-making. Studies reported by the Harvard T.H. Chan School of Public Health show that productivity and cognitive performance decline noticeably under high heat conditions, particularly in physically demanding jobs like construction. Third, long-term health effects. Repeated exposure to heat stress can result in long-term health problems. Chronic dehydration and prolonged heat exposure have been linked to kidney disease, cardiovascular strain, and reduced work capacity. News coverage of agricultural and construction workers in hot regions has reported increasing cases of chronic kidney disease believed to be associated with long-term heat exposure. According to the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention, workers who are frequently exposed to extreme heat without sufficient recovery time face a higher risk of permanent health damage.
Investigative tools in construction. Investigative tools are used to find the cause of accidents at construction sites. First, incident report. RIT. Records what happened, when and where it happened, and who was involved. Next, job safety analysis or JSA. JSA breaks work into steps and identifies hazards before work starts. Lastly, HIRARC. HIRARC identifies hazards, checks risk level, and decides safety controls.
Today, I will explain how heat stress among outdoor and construction workers can be controlled. The most effective way to control heat stress is by eliminating exposure to extreme heat. In the construction industry, this may not always be possible, but certain tasks can be postponed or stopped during extreme heat conditions such as heat waves or when temperatures exceed safe limits. For example, non-urgent outdoor work can be rescheduled to days with safer weather. Eliminating exposure reduces the risk of heat stress because workers are no longer subjected to excessive heat. The second control measure is substitution, which involves replacing hazardous work conditions with safer alternatives. In the context of heat stress, this includes substituting heavy manual work with mechanized equipment or tools that reduce physical exertion. Using machinery instead of manual lifting helps reduce body heat production. Employers may also substitute outdoor work with components assembled indoors, where temperature's better. Next is engineering control, which focuses on modifying the work environment to reduce heat exposure. Common examples include installing temporary shelters, canopies, or shaded areas at construction sites. Ventilation systems, fans, or misting devices can also be used to improve air movement and cooling. In some cases, reflective barriers are installed to reduce radiant heat from surfaces such as concrete or metal. These controls are effective because they reduce heat exposure without relying on individual worker behavior. Administrative controls are among the most practical ways to manage heat stress. These include adjusting work schedules so that heavy tasks are done in the early morning or late afternoon when temperatures are lower. Employers should also implement work rest cycles, allowing workers to take regular breaks in shaded or cool areas.
Heat stress monitoring tools such as the Wet Bulb Globe Temperature Index can help determine when rest breaks are required. Training and acclimatization programs are important so that workers can recognize heat stress symptoms and gradually adapt to hot environments. Lastly, personal protective equipment is the final line of defense. Workers should wear lightweight, breathable, and light-colored clothing to reduce heat absorption. Where possible, cooling vests or moisture-wicking fabrics can be used. However, PPE alone is not sufficient and must always be combined with higher-level control measures.
Tap to watch the interview.
Hello friends, this interview aims to explore workers' experiences and awareness of heat stress, including their daily exposure and the measures taken to reduce health risks at the workplace. For today, we have two persons, which is the first one is Encik Aiman, which is the construction workers.
Alright, Encik Aiman, may I know how many hours do you work under the hot sun?
Hi, on average day, I work about 6 to 7 hours under hot sun, especially during midday.
Do you know anything about heat stress?
Yes, I heard about heat stress, especially when working long hours under hot sun.
What causes the heat stress at construction site?
Heat stress caused by high temperature, direct sunlight, heavy physical work, and lack of rest maybe.
Alright. Do you experience any symptom of heat stress?
I have experienced excessive sweating, dizziness, and extreme tired.
What your construction sites do to minimize the heat stress?
We encourage to drink more water, take rest a little bit, and work maybe under shaded place when possible.
Can I know, do the workers at construction site know about heat stress?
Some workers do, but others they ignore. They want to finish their work as soon as possible.
Alright, thank you, Encik Aiman, for your time.
Okay, thank you to appreciate.
Secondly, is Miss Fira that works as a site supervisor.
Okay, Miss Fira, may I know how often do you need to work under direct sunlight as part of your supervisory duties?
I work under direct sunlight almost every day, usually for 3 to 4 hours, especially during site inspection and progress monitoring.
Okay, so are you aware of heat stress as an occupational hazard?
Yes, heat stress is common occupational hazard at construction sites, especially in Malaysia's climate.
Okay, so may I know which workers are most at risk of heat stress?
Workers involved in outdoor and physically demanding tasks are at higher risk usually.
What heat-related symptoms that have you observed among workers under your supervision?
Some workers become very tired, sweat excessively, and feel dizzy, especially when working long hours under the sun.
Okay, so what control measures are implemented to manage the heat stress?
We implement work rest schedule, provide drinking water, and then shaded rest areas, and conduct toolbox talks.
How do you monitor workers for heat stress symptoms?
So we observe workers closely and advise them to stop work if they show symptoms like dizziness or fatigue.
Do you think current heat stress management is sufficient?
It is effective, but continuous education and enforcement are needed to improve awareness, obviously.
Alright. Okay, thank you, Ms. Fira, for your time.
Thank you.
Thank you to all participants for sharing their experiences and contributing to this occupational health project. In conclusion, the interview findings indicate that workers are exposed to prolonged heat during work activities. While basic preventative measures are practiced, continuous education, proper work rest schedule, and employer support are essential to reduce the risk of heat stress. Thank you.
Quiz time. Question 1. Heat stress is a condition that occurs when a worker is exposed to A. Cold environments, B. Loud noise, C. Excessive heat during work.
The answer is C. Excessive heat during work.
Question 2. Which group of workers is most at risk of heat stress? A. Outdoor construction workers, B. Remote workers, C. Indoor admin staff.
The answer is A. Outdoor construction workers.
Question 3. Which of the following is an early symptom of heat stress? A. Broken bones, B. Excessive sweating and dizziness, C. Chest injury.
The answer is B. Excessive sweating and dizziness.
Question 4. According to the interview, how long do workers commonly work under hot sun per day? A. Less than 1 hour. B. 2 to 3 hours, C. 5 to 7 hours.
The answer is C. 5 to 7 hours.
Question 5. Which control measure is most effective in reducing heat stress at workplace? A. Skip rest breaks. B. Drinking water regularly and taking rest breaks, C. Chemical substances.
The answer is B. Drinking water regularly and taking rest breaks.